We'll see.
No man in the world. No man in the world.
The measure of any society is how it treats its women and girls. It's women and girls.
We create
the smart, powerful, creative, accomplished young women.
We can fight.
I'm here because of you. I'm here because girls like you inspire me.
No man is big enough for us.
Many of these girls have faced unthinkable obstacles just to attend school.
Buckle up, buttercups. It's another episode of Surly Voices here on WMNF Tampa 88.5. My name is Liz. I am joined by my co-hosts, Maria and Donna. How are you this morning, ladies?
Doing okay, Liz. We're all on this rock spinning through space.
Ooh, yes.
And sometimes I feel like we're in a meteor shower, but okay.
Yeah. Donna, I see you're alive and well and with us, and that's probably about all you can say too, right?
No, I was on my way out the door 20 minutes ago to come to the radio. As you can see, I have on a blazer.
You do,
right?
yes.
This is not to stand in front of my computer in my office. And noticed something with my son-in-law. Stepson, that required immediate medical attention.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, so I'm like surrounded by this stuff, right? Like there's no way out. So I'm not the healthiest person in the world myself. So that's what I've been doing for the past couple of weeks, and trying not to watch the news.
Holy
so
cow, yeah.
Please forgive me if I'm a little bit less informed and less talkative than usual, because I'm not up on anything.
Well, let's start with an easy one. Everybody who thinks Mitch McConnell's still alive, raise your hand.
Well, either people don't have hands anymore.
And if you know, this is radio, and if you can't see this, you're not missing anything.
There it is. How smart.
It's like, okay, clearly, I mean, in all these 20-minute conversations going on, that the meme gods are given on that, because there are so many memes out there about the 20-minute conversation that I had with Mitch McConnell yesterday. But it's like, okay, clearly this is some kind of strategic move on the part of the Republicans to hold him in stasis, for lack of a better term, until the deadline passes for when they can replace him. I'm not overly familiar with why they're doing it. All I know is they're keeping him in suspension or whatever until the primaries get done. And it's like,
aren't the primaries in Kentucky over with already?
I think the reason that they're keeping him alive, quote unquote, is because they don't want somebody else getting in the spot. Like I said, I'm not.
Oh, I'll tell you. I got it. I said I lied. I do know about that. So they, a couple years ago, created a situation, the state legislature did, wherein the governor cannot simply appoint someone to fill that seat. If they make it to August the 3rd, then they can have a standalone election.
Ah, okay.
If they don't make it to August 3rd, they have to have a standalone election. So what they're trying to do is get to August the 3rd so that it can go to a normal election in November. But they're worried about two people entering on the Republican side and splitting that vote in a standalone election and then a Democrat taking the seat. So that's why they're keeping him alive until August 3rd.
Wow. And you know what? That is something he would totally be behind. So I'm not
Of
even
course
mad.
he would. Of course he would. This is his whole Supreme Court strategy.
Right.
It is. Yep. So
But-
there's no irony in it.
Yeah. It's like, because normally I'm all about, medical futility and let's not keep these folks lingering on. But that would be the one thing he wanted, was to be perpetually kept alive until all the other options had been taken care of. So, yeah.
Well, a couple of things. Speaking of, since we're talking about SCOTUS, let's just stay right there in that little trough. Let's talk about Amy Coney Barrett, and let's talk about her. Last week, when you were talking about reading the Beth decision, is it something? Okay. All 190 some odd pages, you said.
194.
194. And this, I realized at that point that the show should have been basically you talking about it and Maria and I asking you questions.
Ah, okay.
Which I think at some point we're going to have to come back to, because that was by far the most riveting part of our show. And we should have led with that. So we gotta do better. You can't sit on rules like that. As a whole lawyer, nonetheless, who reads the language, legal language, can give powerful insight to our listeners that I'm sure they would appreciate. I would appreciate it personally. Second thing is, next week we're going to have Bianca Goolsbee back. She wasn't able to make it this morning, but she will be on. You guys found her incredibly informative and entertaining, and she will be coming back as a regular guest now, I hope. But at a minimum, we'll have her for next week, and we'll see if we can get her for the full hour to be our fourth jurist, as it were. The other thing is, we've got to talk about Amy Coney Barrett right now, siding with the justices on the mail-in ballot vote and the birthright citizenship vote. And now her detractors are saying that she betrayed Trump. She only has one loyalty. They're telling on themselves, right?
Yeah, exactly.
About what that's saying. She doesn't have a loyalty to the king. The president. She has
the dictator, dear leader.
You guys take it from there and do what you will with it. And it's interesting because despite the criticism, she's still one of the court's conservative justices. In fact, Reuters reports that she voted with conservative outcomes in 10 of 13 major cases this term, including decisions involving federal agencies, religious liberty, gun rights, immigration, and transgender athletic policy. So by no means has she come to the dark side, as her detractors would imply. It's simply that she is interpreting the Constitution and precedent as it should have been, and saw no reason why the birthright citizenship should be unmoored from the dictates of the 14th Amendment, and saw no harm in states continuing to be sovereign with as little intervention, not entirely sovereign, but with as little intervention as possible from the federal government, which we had that conversation in in the 1700s.
Right.
So we shouldn't be having that conversation at all unless we're trying to restructure our government. Hard stop.
And it's like I said last week, the language in the 14th Amendment could not be more clear. If you're born here, you're a citizen, period. And it's the fact that it was not a unanimous decision is just the most appalling and chilling thing I've ever seen. It's like, wait, this isn't our Constitution, and you're not going on the side of the Constitution, despite like Clarence Thomas has always been, quote unquote, an originalist. Well,
Well, I like to think. I like to think forward, right? I'm a little bit of a futurist, right? You know, I'm no Alvin and Heidi Toffler, but say what you will about them. Naomi Klein, I get them mixed up. But that I like to think that if we're not careful and we continue losing elections in our districts around the country, and if we don't start, and this is what people who are like, you guys listen, but you kind of hate us a little bit because we are constantly banging gang on moderate Dems and their effort to maintain power at any cost, even to the cost of the people who really don't want the candidates that the slates that they're being presented with. So I'm going to say if we continue to lose elections like what we've done in Florida, and you see that cancer grow and spread all over the country, there's nothing to stop Republicans from holding a constitutional convention. So we won't.
By we, you're talking about Democrats?
We meaning not WMNF, number one,
yes.
Right? Can we do the disclaimer?
The opinions expressed on Surly Voices are those of Surly Voices and not those of WMNF.
Okay. So if Democrats, continue to lose elections, so continue to lose seats around the country in the midterms and in the presidential, if like something doesn't shift and we end up with a supermajority in our federal bodies, that could trigger a constitutional convention. Okay. Once these people have the power to do what they want, they will stop at nothing. They have monarchists advising the president. You guys don't forget that. Right? Monarchists are, as absurd as that sounds, it's a reality. And so you have to be very, very careful with saying, oh, you know, there's nothing wrong with the run-of-the-mill AIPAC Democrat. Because if those people keep getting voted down, eventually they're going to have the supermajority to do whatever they want with the rest of us. And you will be no better than the Cubans in Florida, who have now the thing that they feared has come upon them because they continued to align themselves with the whiteness that was never meant for them, but they were convenient.
Right. And they will use and abuse anybody except oligarchs. To get what they want. So I think a lot of people are in for a rude awakening. As far as the moderate Democrats, do you notice how all these vote blue no matter who people are like, no, don't vote for them. They're too radical, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, wait, what happened to vote blue no matter who? Mamdani is a prime example.
Oh, what happened to don't get involved in primaries?
Yeah.
We're agnostic on primaries.
Right. And they're just strong-arming the entire party to pick the most status quo, milquetoast, run-of-the-mill Democrats that they possibly can. And no, vote blue no matter who hasn't worked for a lot of us.
Well, vote blue no matter who is a one-sided endeavor.
Right.
It's what they want.
Yes.
And you should be able to agree with that. And you should be able to look past your values and look past your pain and look past what's important to you, because this is better than the alternative. And if you don't like it, it's your fault.
Right.
Right.
And it's your fault if the Democrats don't win the election. It's a no-win proposition. But
at the end of the day, you can vote blue no matter who, and your pain persists. Right? Your pain, your issues, your struggles are never addressed, and you're supposed to tolerate that. You're supposed to suck it up.
Yep.
And
wait your turn.
Kind of sounds like
people have died in emergency rooms waiting their turn.
Right.
That sounds like being Black in America for the last 400 years. So I want to read this to you guys, because the other day, before, a friend of mine in Maine I work with people all over the country, so people call me and go, have you heard what's happening? And a lot of times I'm not aware of what's happening regionally until it rises to the level of a national story. Someone called me last week and said, oh, have you heard about Graham Plattner? Who the hell was Graham Plattner?
Oh, yeah.
So he told me about that, and that was right around the time, right before, or right after. Last week was a blur for me. Andrew Gillum was picked up in Alabama, and we're not going to run that in the ground, but we can't not talk about it. It's a big story, right? And I thought about these two guys, and now there's been an allegation against Byron Donaldson that I am highly suspicious of at this point, just because the same, unfortunately for Byron, as in so many people of his ilk before him, just because you are serving the machine does not exempt you from the machine coming after you. So he's still Black. Okay? I could use
a lot of people lose their arms in those machines.
And he's about to.
Get sucked up in those machines.
Say it again. So now I'm saying these two things together. So there's the Graham Plattner, who was the golden boy, and he was going to be the guy, who turned out to be a really smoky fella, who ultimately turned out to be self-immolating in his past. Not just the accusations of the things he said in social media in the past, but finally an actual accusation of SA. Byron Donaldson, a lawsuit was filed in his case. This is not just someone this is somebody who has gone on record to say this happened to me, which means there's going to be a excavation of the receipts. And then finally, Gillum, we said he was framed. A lot of people said he was framed back in 2020, 22, something like that, when this thing happened. And I'm not sure the year. And now, of his own independent engagement, barring, with no other people around, driving erratically on an Alabama road, gets pulled over, has a meth pipe on his dashboard, some weed, blunts, and some marijuana, allegedly. That's what the police are saying. And then I wrote this because I thought, gosh, we are still not getting it right. We have an opportunity to identify people of character and heart. There are people in Tallahassee who will tell you that they've always known about Andrew Gillum. There are people in Maine who will tell you that they've always known about Graham Plattner. And I'm sure people are going to come forward and tell you that Byron Donaldson was the ultimate Coon-esque frat boy. And the stories are going to come out.
You didn't say it like you usually do.
No, because I'm on the radio. So
she's got a professional jacket on. He's being
had to come at it sideways.
She's using her executive tone.
And I said that leaders, I keep saying this, leaders should be set apart in some way. Still human, of course, fallible, but with a wider space between them and their reflexive responses, right? Mm-hmm. The more mature you become, a baby just opens their mouth and screams. A 7-year-old says, but I want it, and I don't want to apologize, right? I don't want them to touch my toy. A teenager says, I really don't like this person, Mom. An adult says, if I have to work with her, I will, but I'm going to be cordial. So as we mature, we say, what's the worst thing that can happen if I give it a shot? A reconciliation or a true connection, a shot, right? So that's widening the space between our reflexive, visceral response to something, someone, a circumstance, and a more measured secondary response that moves us away from our emotion and into deeper consideration around the circumstance, person, or whatever. After all we've been through as a society, we still aren't identifying the personalities and temperaments best suited for quality leadership. We are just picking people. Okay?
Right.
It's not working. Okay. Black, white, female. We're just choosing people. They come up and they say, choose me. And we go, oh, yeah, why not? We are not vetting people anymore. Why? Because vetting was used to weed out people that were undesirable by the establishment. Okay? And so we said, hey, if a person has student loans, if a person has been to jail before, they could still be a really good candidate. But we dispensed with all vetting. All vetting.
I'd rather have somebody with student loan debt than a criminal record of SA.
Yeah.
Any moral turpitude, stealing,
Right.
for instance, right?
Right.
So selling drugs to your community, for instance. These are not crimes of addiction. These are crimes that are rooted in I don't give up.
Yeah.
Or desperation, right?
Yeah, okay, sure. But anyone that uses desperation as a coping mechanism, I need to see some proof that they're no longer using that.
Right.
The coping mechanism when under duress.
But let me ask this, because I think you're on to something. I'm just one of the things that I feel is that part of this is the amount of money in our politics.
Yes.
And the fact that, because I see it all the time in municipal and not elections, but in municipal governance, in that, for example, they'll hire the finance guy who was fired from a separate municipality because they can control him. He's got nowhere else to go, right? So I feel like part of this is picking somebody that you can handle, right?
Yes.
With all of their Achilles heels and vulnerabilities, the money can manage them.
Yeah,
And
right.
put them up front, right? And get what they want out of a government that was supposed to be by the people and for the people, which is no longer that.
Right.
Do you think that there's that component to what you're saying, or?
I think that I think that money has always been the doorway through which the more unsavory of these characters enter. Whether it's their money or someone deciding that they can be easily controlled. Someone who had the background. And I'm sure as things come to fore, we'll hear more about these folks' backgrounds, right? Because in the beginning, we're not willing to listen to people who say, oh, you're sour grapes, you're scorned. So, you're just a hater, is what we say. We dismiss people when they come forward. Lanita Hill is like the archetype dismissal of a person who is saying, don't do this thing. This person has a character problem.
Yep.
Right.
Dismiss people as sour grapes, as haters, as controlled ops when they come forward and warn us about these people. We continue to do that. Now, I'm the kind of person that if I have a situation with you wherein you engage in unsavory behavior with no provocation, I'm never going to forget how you behaved when you didn't have a reason to. So no matter how many people come and sing your praises, I'm going to remember how you treated me or others when you didn't have to do that.
And move accordingly. I have there's two names I want to put in the mix of this conversation. The first one is Susan Collins, right?
Oh.
Like we are all sitting around pearl clutching around the obvious when it comes to Graham Plattner, but he is the perfect character model that she would vote to affirm for the Supreme Court, right? Because we've seen it.
Yeah.
All right, we've seen it.
And every time these moderate Democrats are like, "Oh, Susan Collins will come on our side." No, she shows us
she
time
never
and time
does.
again.
Like, let's stop kidding ourselves, right? So I just want to point out that as much as we pearl clutch and we want to talk about character, we have a bunch of people who don't measure up, and some occupy the White House.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I find that fascinating. But there's when you were talking, Donna, there's a name that popped into my head, right? Tim Geithner,
Okay.
who served as Treasury Secretary, I believe under Obama.
Okay.
When he was nominated, he owed $15 million to the IRS.
Oh, what?
And he had to pay that before moving into consideration. And he was eventually confirmed to be Treasury Secretary. Am I the only one that finds that like you would never, none of us, like we would be buried under
Right.
a $15 million IRS debt?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're listening to
I just
Surly-
find it fascinating because, to me, that's like white male privilege.
Absolutely. You're listening to Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5. You can give us a call at 813-239-9663, or you can email to dj@wmnf.org. I've got Jennifer from Spring Hill waiting to tell us something.
But you didn't let me finish my thing I wrote.
Sorry. Okay.
This might for more context. It's like one paragraph.
Okay.
Okay. After all we've been through as a society, we still aren't identifying the personalities and temperaments best suited for quality leadership. We still repackage the same tortured, attention-seeking people with the veneer of newer, younger, or different. But a few years from now, when we're still entangled in the scandal and spectacle that almost always happens when immature and undisciplined personalities gain power, they haven't demonstrated the ability to manage. We'll finally realize that platform change cannot make the platform bearer a better leader.
Ooh, yes. Snaps. Let's talk to Jennifer now. Jennifer.
Yes. Hello. You guys are talking about a whole bunch of things that I've been talking about and doing. I'm with the Green Party, and we did. You brought up. I was going to call about proportional representation, which I want to bring up. But anyway, you talked about getting money out of elections, and I've lobbied a couple times in D.C. to get money out of elections. We actually wrote a bill for fair and equal opportunity elections, and all elections 100% publicly funded only, and we had a whole plan for it. But, I mean, the idea is that you actually get the money out from anybody. No unions, no corporations,
Right.
no billionaires donate. It's just like TV, you run an ad with everybody on it. I mean, you have a debate, everybody that's running for it is on it, every party, and not just two parties and so on. But but anyway, I wanted to talk about proportional representation because it's something I think we really need to pay attention to because we're seeing that we're getting overwhelmed by the money, but also by the fact that did you know that this was frozen? If you look at the U.S. House of Congress, it was frozen at 435 members back in 1929. So, yeah. So what that means is that we had way less people. we had plenty of people, but still, right now we're the third largest country in the world. And when you look
And the
at
only major country without universal health care, I might add.
yes, ma'am. Lots of things. We're without a lot of things. And, like free education all the way. Like Nicaragua has free education from preschool to grad school. And they have every single job in Nicaragua is unionized. But I don't want to keep going on. But I just want to tell you, I'm doing a workshop at the University of Chicago at the end of the month with a colleague. And we're going to be, expounding on this. But just some quick things. Iceland has 5,533 people are represented by one representative. Do you guys want to take a guess at how many people are represented by one of our representatives? Like the one you may have?
I'm really bad at guessing.
750,000 people.
Yeah.
It's 747,800.
750,000 people.
Yeah.
Three-quarters. Oh, did you say three-quarters? Okay,
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's right. It is three-quarters of a million. It's going up. And the thing is this was frozen in 1929, and the population size then was a lot smaller, but it was was still higher than most countries anyway. There's charts out there that you can look up, constituents per representative. And it starts out like Iceland at the bottom, and then it goes on the way up to a lot of European countries and so on and so forth. And it kind of starts going to the right. And Japan, Mexico, South Korea, they're high. But the United States, it goes zoom, you go way over to the right. We're like the lone star out there because we have the third largest country in the world population-wise. It goes India, China, then the United States, with roughly 350 billion people. So it's like, or a million. But anyway, the point is that that's something we should be starting to, when you're on your show, get people starting to talk about that and think about that because it's an important step that we can make. We do need the money out for sure. That's another thing. And that would make elections more fair because not really, I don't know any other countries that even run off of money.
All right.
They have a little bit, but not like us.
All right.
To the extent that we do. So, there's a lot of voter reform we should do, term limits on Supreme Court justices of like 18 years, which is what Biden was.
That's a whole show.
Right. Yeah.
That, and they never did it.
Okay.
So, these are the things that, if we want to get these things done, we got to probably look at all the all the different things that are out there. And proportional representation is something we should be able to ask for.
All right.
Wait a second.
Thanks so much for calling, Jennifer.
Sure. Absolutely, lady.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Jack in Dover. Hey, Jack.
Hey, good morning, girls. How's everybody today?
We're here.
Did anybody open my email that I sent to you with the attachment?
Not yet. No.
Okay, well, let me read it. I'd like to share this with everybody. This was a dispatch that was sent to Richmond. Richmond dispatch dated 6/29/1864. And it says, it's just a very short sentence, "We would rather lose all of our slaves than be slaves to them. It may suit the purpose of the North to represent the Southern defense to the world as a war of slavery. It is no such thing. It is a war of our liberties and independence." Richmond Dispatch, 6/29/1864. And that was from Jefferson Davis, the President of the Confederate States of America.
So
with my email, I sent to you to reach out to, I guess, my constituents. And this year, let's vote gray, let's vote black, and let's vote for women. And I also put a hashtag for the Voting Act of 1965, because you're right. I mean, the people that are in power, the states that are going to manipulate our voting rights and do everything they can to feed the wealthy is not fair, and it's not American. I mean, we're a country for everybody. I mean, it's right on page 1 of our Constitution. It is a nation indivisible under God for everyone.
all right. Well, thanks so much for that, Jack. And I'm sorry I'm slow on reading the emails today. I've got lots of balls in the air here. So
It's quite all right. So,
but now you're not agreeing with Jefferson Davis, are you?
What do you mean, that the Civil War wasn't about slavery?
Yes.
I'm saying that it was propaganda from the North. They wanted to make the war about slavery.
The war was about slavery. Read the Confederate Constitution. It mentions slavery several times. So
yeah, but it wasn't everybody that was a Confederate that feels that way.
All right. So talk to you later, Jack. Thank you.
All right.
You're
welcome.
Bye-bye. So, yeah, we certainly do not endorse Jefferson.
The rewriting of history.
No, the Civil War was about slavery, and I've said this before, but if the Union had put all the Confederates in jail and let them rot there, we probably wouldn't have the problems we have today. Let's see. Speaking of emails, have you heard about the Leaving MAGA website? I'm glad to see more MAGA folks waking up and renouncing Trump.
It was actually started by a guy here in Florida.
Was it?
Yes.
I haven't seen that. What was it that finally put them over the hump?
Public health. The anti-vaxxers put him over the edge. He, I saw him on a podcast. Right, I can't remember the name of this podcast, but it's a brother and sister. The sister lives in Texas. The brother lives in California. And the parents, they're all originally from Oklahoma. And the parents are super MAGA and only like are addicted to like Newsmax and Fox News. And the brother and the sister tried to reason with their parents. And and so they had this guy on, I think it was actually earlier this week, that they had this guy on leaving MAGA to talk to their mom, right? And it's interesting because it was a very civil discussion, but he told his story. And the reason why he left MAGA and he tries to deprogram other people is because when in 2020, when people were getting vaccinated, I don't know if you guys had it out in Tampa the way we had it here, but these people were losing their minds over masking and vaccines and stuff like that. And he was like, no, like I've got kids. I'm worried about my children being safe. And there's something about this that's not right. So it was really interesting. But yeah, the guy's from here. He's from Florida. As a matter of fact, I think he's from South Florida.
Oh, okay.
And that he went to the University of Miami.
All right. I'm going to have to look for that now. Let's see. We've got an email from Christina. Good morning, and thank you for the continued intelligent conversation regarding Andrew Gillum. I voted for him and would vote for him again if I had the chance. We must remember that he was not arrested or charged with anything while running for the governor of Florida. But the right continues with the kick a man when he's down methodology. Andrew Gillum was the best candidate for the working and middle class of Florida. Democrats should not abandon this simply because of his current or past legal issues. Much love, Christina. Thank you, Christina.
I don't think anyone is abandoning him, Christina. I think that why would I choose someone who is actively fighting their demons to represent me? Right? My issues around my taxes, my home loans, my access to health care, these are life or death situations. I would like it if someone who was actively fighting demons, Matt Gaetz, Andrew Gillum, any one of these people, to quietly go and manage there. I've offered no judgment.
I put Gaetz and Gillum in different boxes because I know.
I get what you're saying. I'm just saying anyone who is absolutely distracted by something. I get they're not in the same league here, right? So I should retract that. They are the same. But anyone who is thusly preoccupied with things that are not the business of the people should be somewhere handling that business. Okay, if you're a P-file, then you should be getting help. If you are an active addiction, you should be getting help and not seeking to govern others. You guys have never heard the term that says a man who seeks to govern others should first seek to govern himself.
Oh, yes, I like
I
it.
withdrew from public life because my own internal dialogue was louder than me hearing from my constituency. I asked that level of awareness of everyone that is taking on the serious business of managing others' business. And not only they're just simply managing other business, it's not just ribbon cuttings, you guys. And these things are life or death. When a drug is taken off a formulary due to budgetary cuts, people die.
Right.
So if you're medicating yourself with non-regulated pharmaceuticals, you should probably.
I just want to say that.
I'm just saying.
I agree with you. I agree with you, but however, do you realize that they would not be able to get quorum in Congress or in the state legislature were that the case?
Amen.
I do. And I'm not going to play that game though. I'm not going to play the game of there's a person in front of us who's done something that is untoward or committed some crime of moral turpitude. Now remember, the crime is not that he is an act of addiction, okay? Now, he said drink a lot. The crime is getting behind the wheel of a car in that. Okay? So there was a crime, and that's why he went to jail. And so what I'm saying is if your judgment is that damaged, where your stuff is now in the news, you're on a whole other level than some of these people. Now, I do realize, because a lady told me randomly, in the Save-A-Lot that she was hit by someone who was drunk in South Tampa near Bayshore. He was a very wealthy man. She gleaned that from his interaction with the cops. They said, "Do you know who he is?" Then they moved away from her so that she couldn't hear the rest of the conversation. And she said that when she and her husband turned back, she said her teeth are chipped, that she's in the back of the ambulance and they turned around and he was gone. They had let him go. And that the cop was saying, screaming at her to get out of the back of the ambulance. You can go to the doctor later. They didn't want her to be taken from the scene by ambulance.
Oh my gosh.
So I do get that wealthy people are buying their way out of this public spectacle, that some who are less fortunate and less capable of that, and who the tide is against them for obvious reason. You know, Andrew Gillum getting picked up in Alabama, and anyone recognizing him, they're giving him the full compliment, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas, as far as we know, Ron DeSantis could have been picked up before. We'll never hear about it. Remember the golf cart Mary? Remember that?
Yep.
So, and that was a situation where people were driving a golf cart drunk and said, "Hey, do you know who I am?" And they happened to be the police chief of Tampa, and they were fired soon after that. But there are a lot of people buying.
But only because it came out.
But only because it came out.
Yeah.
Because a good writer found it, investigative writer found it and exposed it. And then there's the other thing I was going to tell you guys about of, the other day was that Nancy Pelosi's husband was driving in California.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, I saw that. Yep.
Yeah. And so I'm not going to deny that these stories are being treated with different hands, but none of these people don't need to be representing us, y'all. I'm sorry. I am going to not play the, but they, right? If you're loose enough to get caught and put in the public and exposed, and as a Black person, I know the stakes are higher for me, right? Which is why my son is not going on an exclusive adventure, okay? Right? We want to go there, and which is why, the moment that I thought my drinking was taking me there, the drinking ended. Because I understand the ruination that will come.
Right.
I mean, Black Lives Matter, all that stuff, it's going to be in the news, my mugshot, everything. Can't have it. Ruination. And so everybody understands this. These are brilliant people. They understand it. And if they're still willing to play that game, they're out of control. Sorry.
Yeah. There are a lot of people in government service who are untreated somethings. Alcoholics.
But that doesn't negate my statement. It actually affirms
right.
it. It roots it in the reality that we continue to choose people. And it doesn't matter whether that conversation is being had about Andrew Gillum or Matt Gaetz or Mitch
Donald
McConnell,
Trump.
maybe Donald Trump. We have a problem, Houston.
Yeah. Right. Because you're not judging on qualifications or content of what they say. It's people. It's like a beauty contest. It's like
I'm rooting for everybody Black, but come on, the rules are different. Come on.
But and all the systems are set up to accommodate whatever the DNC or the RNC want to do. It's like,
The Epstein files. Have you seen some of the stuff in the Epstein files?
yeah.
We're totally ignoring it because these are rich white people.
Exactly. And nobody is willing to do the hard work and take the hits for release. Why isn't Thomas Massey singing his heart out every day in the street? Why doesn't he have a little press conference and name names, you know? It's like he's got nothing to lose. He's out of office in a few months, but now he's not doing anything. I mean, come on.
It used to be the people had affairs and then they found out about your affair. And they exposed you. You were
Right.
seeing the communications person, as one candidate for public office had a few years ago. He was running for president, he's messing around with his press person in press corps. And now it's like you were paying 17-year-olds. Like, that's another level of debauchery.
Yeah.
It should exempt you entirely from public office.
So yeah, it's and children. I mean, 17 is an old child, but children, little tiny children, like
Too many grown women standing around that are willing. Too many. Too many beautiful, grown, adult, willing women.
but they don't want adult women. That's the whole.
Because they're sickos.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So yeah, we as a country, on both sides of the aisle, on all the aisles, we all need to be more discerning about who we're electing to office.
And then, can I say this? I'm just going to go in right now. Just give me 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So when we talk about the Congressional Black Caucus and how they don't listen to Black people in extremis, that's how we get there.
Exactly. And it's like,
but you got to look at the Black Caucus for what it is, right? It is a wholly owned subsidiary of corporate Democrats.
At AIPAC.
They're all of their money comes from lobbyists, including AIPAC, pharma, all of it. And it's not like the Black agenda is center to what and how they move.
And so when we get it wrong, okay, Black people are already living, so many Black people live in poverty. So many Black people don't have access and opportunity. So when we allow people to make it through who are not about that life, we suffer in greater proportion and measure than others. So when people say, Donna, you're harder on Black people than you are, white people own everything, okay? Everything. And so if we have any type of agency and ownership, we must protect it with our lives. And that means requiring the people who represent the small piece of that we can get. We have to protect it as if it is everything, because it literally is. So yeah, while I'm here I want to see representation matters. I want to see Black women in power and authority. But what I will not abide is someone who will take this. We had a person run for city council, school board here a few years ago, young Black woman. Moved to North Carolina. I'll allow her to remain nameless because she's probably still in political life. And I probably shouldn't do that. And I'm probably contributing and enabling, but I'm not today. And she went to the Black pastors in Tampa and said, hey, I will do what you guys asked me to do for Black children. And they said, okay. And they endorsed her and supported her and helped raise money for her. And when she got that position, she would not talk to those Black pastors. Jasmine Crockett in Texas, Black pastors say they never heard from this lady, that she never ran a campaign. We have got to be more careful. Right? White liberals love to hear a sassy Black woman, not my words, y'all's words, tell it like it is to the president. But what are you doing for the people in your district? Because they need you. And I'm going to hold people to that. And I don't care if people call me anti-Black. I don't care if people say I'm internalizing racism. I don't give a doggone. I'm going to keep on saying it because it matters and Black people need representation. And if this is what we're settling for this, then we should get what we get and not throw a fit.
yeah. All right, let's talk to Jeanette in St. Pete.
Sorry.
Hi, Jeanette.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, I just wanted to mention Chappaquiddick.
Chappaquiddick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Ted Kennedy is still
Kennedy's.
in politics, and nobody done anything about that.
Right.
We
Well,
did-
and nobody ever will, you know?
It was a
Look
thing.
how long it's
Right?
been.
It was a thing. They couldn't penetrate the wall of money around them.
Right.
I mean, the Kennedys, like, they can do no wrong, even though, they've had a lot of problems and unfairness, but, I mean, because of Robert and John, but look at Tony.
But yeah, that's a great example, though, Jeanette. And thanks for calling.
Sure.
All right. Bye-bye. Yeah, I mean, it's a story as old as time. He who has the goal makes the rules, right? And so, yeah, when you put one of your lovely young campaign assistants in the car and drive off a bridge and oops, she drowned. Yeah.
Oh, you mean Sandra Levy? Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I mean Mary Jo Kopechne of the Chappaquiddick
Yeah.
incident.
Sandra Levy was the pregnant intern that disappeared.
Yes. Well, she wasn't pregnant, though.
They said that she,
That was a rumor. I don't think she really was.
and you be reading them briefs.
Yeah. I be watching those shows. I watched all the murder shows.
Yeah, it just gets me going. I'm sorry to go on the soapbox, but it gets me going because the moment we start saying that it's the vote blue no matter who conversation by another name.
Yes.
It's that if we just have people who look like the people who are disenfranchised, who are being controlled by the apparatus of our oppression, then we're safer than we are if the people who do not look like us hold that office. And that's how we keep getting into this horrible thing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we keep getting these horrible candidates on the Democrat side. They're supposed to be our people, but they're not. And it's the same conversation,
Right.
a different name.
Right. And so it happens all the time, though. We've got to, because I think a lot of these career politicians are just untreated narcissists, and they just live for all the excitement, getting on the trail and campaigning and shaking hands and kissing babies. And it's like, sit down. Nobody wants you.
A couple of them just want to be in a suit walking around glad handing, but won't pay their operatives.
Right.
What are you even doing? Right? So and that's the truest thing that you just said, Liz, that I've heard on this whole show, is that I say it all the time. Every time I come back from one of my excursions, I choose my own adventure out here in my career, and every time I come back, I go, y'all, some of the most unsavory people in this country, in this land, are so-called political operatives and leaders. Some of the worst people I've ever met.
Yeah. And then you have the counter operatives, and it's like, wait, you get infiltrated by people. I mean, I've seen that firsthand. It's like, wait.
Yep. Oh, and the infiltrators
suspect, yes.
always look like the most oppressed people. To wit, see Fred Hampton, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. We can go on and on and on, right? Even the Nkrumahs of West Africa, when the West Africans were seeking their freedom back in the 60s. Stephen Biko. What's his name?
Patrice Lumumba.
Patrice Lumumba. I was looking for him. I couldn't find him. It's always from the inside, right? In Black Lives Matter Tampa, it's not a white guy named Bob. It's a queer Black woman, millennial, right?
Yeah.
Be careful out here in these streets, y'all. All skin folk ain't kinfolk, and Black people need to get more sophisticated with this.
Yeah. And then you have all the money coming in from corporations. That needs to stop. No more PAC money, no more corporate money. You get
That's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. It's how they got all.
Yeah, I figured. All right, so it is time to go. Please join us again next week for Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5.
diamonds, I like stunning, I like shining, I like $1 million deals. Where's my pen? Bitch, I'm signing. I like those Balenciagas, the ones that look like socks. I like going to the Tula. I put rocks all in my watch.
Economic